So I don't have a lot of fragrances from Labo. This is one that I just had to buy. However, my journey with Another 13 started somewhere around 2021. And among the few first times when I put my nose to this, I completely fell in love. That was one of the most sort of addictive scents I ever put my nose to. But since it's so expensive, I wanted to make sure that I truly loved it. So I got hold of samples, more samples, and I probably went through probably over 10 samples. And every single sample I tried after the initial ones ended up being something that didn't match my initial first experience. And I really couldn't figure it out. I tried it on skin, on paper, on different spots on my skin to try and get the same initial first experience, but every single sample I tried didn't have that same magical addictiveness or whatever like my first experience, until quite recently when I tried it again after giving it a break for a few years, and I got that same initial magic kind of scent, so I ended up buying it. This in a way has sort of happened before, but not quite as extreme like over a few years as with this one. I believe it was Parfums de Marly Calana. That one was something I went like back and forth over quite a long period of time before I bought it, but not quite like this one. So this isn't going to be a first impression because I've been through so many of these, and it's not going to be a full review either. I'm just gonna open this one up and share my thoughts on it with you. Before we begin, I would love to know how you feel about Labo Another 13. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Comment. So some of the notes in Another 13 are ambroxan, ambrette seed, pear, jasmine, moss. So after all those samples and what is it now, 3 years, this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, this is the scent that I fell in love with, and this is so good, but it's also so hard to describe this scent. This on my skin is definitely musky, like musky first, something that is more sort of a transparent than something that is loud or super powdery and stuff like that. And right behind that musk, there's definitely something fruity going on. Now, the notes mention pear. I'm not exactly sure I'm picking up pear, but there's definitely a fruity aspect to Another 13 that I think works perfectly together with the musk. So the opening through to the mids, at least to my nose, is primarily musky. This sort of a clean, transparent kind of musk. When I say clean and transparent, that doesn't mean people won't notice it, because they will notice it. But this is a different kind of scent to notice. I know that sounds weird, but yeah. You also have a gorgeous dose of fruitiness with a hint of sweetness underneath it all. And the opening through to the mids is also quite ambery. The more it dries down, the more woody it gets. Now, this is not a heavy kind of woodiness, and I believe it's the moss that's behind the woodiness in Another 13. This is quite a light kind of woodiness that I think goes perfectly together with that more sort of a transparent musk. So far I described the musk as clean and transparent, but this is the thing that I fell in love with when it comes to Another 13. There's another side to that musk that is more sexy and almost sort of a dirty. And I know that doesn't make sense at all. How can something be clean and transparent the same time as it is sort of a dirty and sexy? But that's the thing I pretty much fell in love with when it comes to Another 13. This is not a heavy kind of scent. This is not something super loud or anything. And yes, it is clean and transparent at the same time that it has an enormous kind of sexiness to it that is a bit sort of dirty as well. So here are my thoughts on compliments and mass appeal. Some will absolutely dislike it, some won't pick up on it at all, and some will be completely mesmerized by it and fall in love with it. This is not super mass appealing. This is no Dior Sauvage, but there's definitely quite a high likability factor to it, even though this is not a super mass appealing scent. So here are my thoughts on usage. So like seasons and occasions, this is not a super heavy or super deep kind of scent in any way. This is also not a challenging kind of scent in any way. So when it comes to seasons, definitely throughout the year. As for occasions, any really. However, since this is not a loud scent, and since this is not a room filler or anything like that, this wouldn't probably be my choice if I want such a scent. And since this is not a freshie, won't be something I will be reaching for when I want a more fresh scent on me. So while I do think you can use Another 13 to pretty much any occasion, this won't be something I will be reaching for when I want something super fresh. And it won't be something I will be reaching for when I want something loud like a room filler or anything. When it comes to performance, I really don't know, and I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. When I went through all those samples, I got such a wide range of different results when it came to the performance. Sometimes this lasted super long on my skin, other times it was gone by in like 2 or 3 hours. However, this is definitely a scent people will pick up on you if you are like normal conversation range. When it comes to alternatives, I really don't have anything quite like this. This kind of muskiness with that hint of fruitiness in the background, and it being this ambery and woody in this sort of a way. And this is where I would absolutely love to hear from you. What do you have or know of that is similar to Another 13? And do you know of anything that could possibly be even better than this? Comment. So when it comes to price, the Labo fragrances aren't cheap. I paid around 250 bucks for 100 ml. So this is definitely, together with the kind of scent that this is definitely not something I think you should blind buy. Try getting your hands on samples like this if you're curious about it. So there you go, those are some of my thoughts on Le Labo Another 13. I absolutely love this thing. However, it took me about 3 years and a ton of these samples to finally come to the conclusion that I absolutely have to have this in my collection. Now, I would absolutely love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Another 13? Is it a love or is it a hate? Comment. Like this video, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe.